killed as they tried to help. The deaths of 7 aid workers after an Israeli airstrike this week has sharpened the focus on the legality of the conflict in Gaza and the UK's role in exporting weapons. Now, in a 17-page letter to the Prime Minister, more than 600 legal experts, including 3 former Supreme Court justices, have called for the UK to change course. They write, serious action is needed to avoid UK complicity in grave breaches of international law, including potential violations of the Genocide Convention. The sale of weapons and weapons systems to Israel falls significantly short of your government's obligations under international law.
The point about having an obligation to prevent genocide is that you have to take steps to ensure that it doesn't happen or doesn't continue. It seems to me perfectly clear, therefore, that to supply arms to Israel is not consistent with our obligations.
The lack of clarity has led to civil servants working on export licences to threaten to down tools over concerns they could be held criminally liable. Senior officials said that was unlikely, as they were satisfied international law was being followed. But the UK has acted on export licences to Israel before, in 2002 and 1982, and it could happen again if the government decides humanitarian law is being broken.
If that is the view come to by the government, then it's not a political choice by the government. It has to be, it's a legal one, and the law has to be obeyed. The bar for evidence is high, but it's not unreasonably high. However, the difficulty is finding out exactly what has happened.
And that's why the politics matters too. Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron was in Brussels today with NATO counterparts. While UK arms exports to Israel are relatively small, suspending them would still be a big and potentially divisive geopolitical move. The Foreign Office says it keeps its legal advice under review but maintains that it's confidential. For the government, the diplomatic consequences of suspending arms exports likely outweigh the domestic. But still, there are splits within the Conservative Party on the issue, ones that largely mirror divisions across the country and across the globe. And Rishi Sunak can ill afford to anger more of his colleagues. This former cabinet minister, one of several MPs, urging the Prime Minister to hold steady.
The question is the state in question doing all it can do to minimise those innocent civilian casualties? And I believe that Israel is doing that, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think arms sales should be discontinued.
The government's tone on Israel's war in Gaza has hardened in recent months, but now many want action to match the words. Devastation in the Middle East echoing through politics here and around the world. Rob Powell, Sky News in Westminster.